Welcome to a special edition of TwainTV. I'm Hannah. We're joined today by Lee District School Board member Tamara Derenak Kaufax. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Hannah. Thank you.
So what inspired you to run for the school board?
Well, I have a parent of two kids. I have Matthew and Hallie, and they both were students here at Twain. And I was active and involved from the time in the PTAs and in community boards from the time they were young kids. And I was approached when my son was actually in middle school and my daughter was in elementary school. And the person that was running for school board, he said that he was no longer running and they were looking for someone to replace him. And so my name was kind of thrown into the mix of people who would be considered for the office. And as it ended up, I decided that was a challenge I was up for, and here I am. I won my first election, and this is my second term. It's my second four-year term that I just won in November.
Wow. So what's your favorite thing about your job as a member of the school board?
Well, I think my favorite thing as a member of the school board is actually doing things like this, being in the schools with the kids. That's my primary focus. Yesterday, I had the privilege of doing 2 Read Across America events. I was at Springfield Estates Elementary and Rose Hill Elementary and got to read to first and second graders there. And then in the afternoon, I was treated to a luncheon. Dr. Garza, who's our superintendent of the schools, she invited me to one of her business luncheons. And we had Health and Human Services community members there, and the students from Edison's Culinary Academy cooked the lunch, served the lunch, and it was delicious and awesome. And so when I can get out into the schools, meeting the students, and being part of the community where they live, that's where I want to be.
Come see Seussical the Musical, April 15th at 7 p.m., April 16th at 2 and 7 p.m., April 17th at 2 p.m. at Mark Twain Middle School.
Welcome back to TwainTV. I'm Caleb. We're here again with Lee District Board member Tamara Derenak Kaufax.
Very good.
Do you have any long-term plans for Fairfax County's public school system? How will you execute these goals?
Well, our school system does have a strategic plan, which our board put together about a year ago. And the way we developed that plan was we went out to the community and we, again, asked for parents of students, community members who may not have had anybody in the school, business leaders, teachers. And what we did is we met with them over a several-week period and asked them, what do you want to see when a child graduates from our system? What skill sets do you think will be beneficial for a child to be college and career ready? And what we are doing is we are planning or making sure our curriculum is based upon achieving these goals. And so the strategic plan was developed with student success at the heart, at carrying culture, as well as making sure that we had a premier workforce and we were fiscally responsible for our monies. So this strategic plan, developed by the school board in conjunction with staff, is something that we look at on, this is the way we get goal reports on each of our areas, on how they are, what successes are being, what successes we're seeing, and where we need to add additional resources. And that's why the information that I was talking about earlier, to achieve some of the things that we have in our strategic plan, are going to take additional funding. And where we are right now, I'm concerned about that. But we still have lots of great programs. We're still going to move forward as much as we can, and we do. The Portrait of a Graduate with the strategic plan for how we go forward is the heart of where we are right now in our system.
Okay. What are your biggest challenges? What are the biggest challenges that Fairfax County faces?
Well, it goes hand in hand. It's budget season, right? So I keep talking about the budget. It's funding. Yeah. It's funding. We have cut from our budget $500 million with a B dollars over the since 2008. We have cut 2,200 positions from our workforce, and during that time, our student body has grown about 28,000 students. To give you a perspective on what 28,000 kids looks like, it's more than the entire population of Alexandria City Schools. So it's a lot of kids, and a lot of the kids have come maybe not ready to learn or maybe not school ready because they hear that we are a great school system, so they want to come to our system, and we're happy to have them. But if they come with learning deficiencies or if they have special needs, we're ready and willing to help them. But with the numbers that have come and the needs that have come and the lack of funding, that's my biggest concern. I want to keep this system one of the premier school systems in the country the way it is right now, and I want every student who comes to our door, whether they need acceleration or remediation, to be able to have their needs met in Fairfax County Public Schools.
Sounds good. Okay. Some students are worried that the county won't have enough money to fully fund arts programs or extracurriculars. Is this something to be concerned about?
Well, as I said earlier about the Citizens Advisory Committee that came together to develop a list of potential cuts, there were extracurriculars on there, as well as some student programs. That is not something that I am personally looking forward to, because ultimately what happens is we will finally get the money, the final budget, how much the locality is willing to give us and how much the state is willing to give us. And when in the end, when we have those final monies in April or May, it's going to be up to myself and my other 11 colleagues on the board to figure out where those cuts are going to need to be made. And I think it's going to be a very hard task. And unfortunately, if the state funds, if the county doesn't give us a little bit more than the 3% that they said, and the state funds don't happen, as I said earlier, the cuts are going to have to come in teacher salaries or in student programming.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back with our TwainTV special edition.
Stay connected. Follow TwainTV on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. See all our videos over at youtube.com/TwainMSNews.
Welcome back to TwainTV. I'm Jocelyn. We're back again with Miss Kaufax. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So, as you know, there's been a lot of controversy over the start times switching between middle school and high school. Do you think this has paid off? Will there be any adjustments?
Well, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it had to do with funding, right?
Yeah.
Because there has been so much evidence from everything, every major medical organization, Johns Hopkins, Children's National Medical Organization, every premier facility who studies adolescence and who studies sleep and its effects on your health and well-being has said that the way your circadian rhythms are, and that's kind of the way you how late you want to stay up and then how late you want to sleep,
right,
are in opposition to the school day, right? So while we can't have school starting at 11 and you staying up till 1, which is kind of probably where your natural rhythms are, what we thought is it would be better to start the school day a little bit earlier, and so you'll still be staying up, but you may end up sleeping a little bit more in the morning. We have had a lot of positive comments about that. I have had a lot of, as I said, I still have a daughter in the school system. I've had a lot of love, if you will, from her friends about how they literally feel better. The bad part about it is what we did is we did a flip. We know you're in adolescence for about 6 years while you're in our school system, and we thought for funding purposes, it cost us about $4 million to add buses to our fleet to allow the high school students where you are for 4 years of your life rather than 2.
Right.
So it's one of my goals that I want to do personally is to have middle school at the same later start time that high schools are. But right now, due to the funding situation we're in, we weren't able to get more buses that will allow us to get, because we use our fleets in a kind of rolling manner. You know, they drop off the elementary school, then they drop off the high schools. And so because of that, we were only able to fund enough busing to do it at the high school level. And we thought, since you're there 4 years, it's a little bit healthier for you. And I know it's a little hard for you guys right
sadly.
now, sadly.
Yeah.
And but we're going to work on that. We're going to try to fix it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a series of very important questions.
Okay.
Very important. So, what are you binge watching these days?
Well, most of my meetings on Thursday night, so I'm not binge watching an old show, but most of my meetings are on Thursday nights. So I DVR Grey's Anatomy and Scandal.
Oh.
So that's what I like to watch, and so that's my binge watch.
Yeah, same actually. Okay, so this question is extremely important. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes with chocolate chips.
Oh, okay. So, again, thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome.
Make
my
sure-
pleasure.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing, great. Thank you, Twain students. You're awesome.
Make sure you stay tuned for more Twain TV specials. Okay, and we have one final question for you.
Okay.
Can we take a selfie with you?
Sure.
Yay.
Can we get the tiger in? Get the tiger.
Okay.
You all go in there.
Would you like to do the honors?
Oh, absolutely. How do we get this? I didn't use a selfie stick.
Caleb, come back.
We gotta get. I'll put it there, and then everybody fill in around.
Oh, Jesus.
Is everyone coming? Yeah.
Oh, that's better. Yeah. And I just press this.
Yes.
Hey, we gotta
We got more kids. Come on, kids. Gentlemen,
I can be in there
ladies.
too. We gotta get
I'll hold the tiger.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Should we take can we take a silly one too?
Okay. One. Nobody else get in. The rest of you know. Okay. 1, 2,